This is the long-delayed Eglinton Crosstown LRT line. I'm releasing this video on July 23, 2025, which marks a disappointing milestone in the history of this line. You won't hear Metrolinx, the provincial government agency overseeing this line, talk about this milestone. But then again, you won't hear Metrolinx talk about much. Metrolinx got 99 problems, and transparency is one. So, what is it? Well, to understand that, we first have to talk a little bit about the construction of Toronto's original subway line, because it has something to do with this. Trust me and follow along.
There had been a number of proposals to build a subway of some sort in Toronto, but finally in 1946, a referendum was held in which voters approved building a subway along Yonge Street from Union Station to Eglinton Avenue. One condition of this proposal was that the federal government would subsidize construction. Negotiations between governments about that funding held things up a bit. Yeah, delays in building rapid transit are not a recent development. Construction began on September the 8th, 1949. About 4.5 years later, on March 30th, 1954, the subway officially opened. If we call the first day of construction Day 1, then opening day was day 1665. Remember that number, we'll come back to it later.
Just like the original Yonge subway line, there had been a number of proposals to build some form of higher order transit along Eglinton Avenue, going back a few decades. In 1994, the provincial government even dug a hole at Eglinton West subway station to begin constructing a line to the west from there. But the following year, after a change of government, they filled the hole back in. I talked about the history of this line, including the numerous postponements to its proposed opening date, in my video about the history of this line. There's a magic link up here, and I'll put a link down in the description so you can find it when you finish watching this video. Metrolinx hasn't exactly been forthcoming about the reason for a lot of the delays on this line. Of course, there was that whole pandemic thing that shut down a lot of work sites and really messed up the global supply chains back in 2020. But by that point, this line's opening had already been delayed to well into 2022. One thing that they did disclose is that there were some issues that they found where this line has to pass under Eglinton Station on the original Yonge line. And to be fair, that's not really unexpected. That line's been covered up with dirt since it was built about 70 years ago. So the only way to find out if there are any problems with it, or if it wasn't built according to the engineering diagrams, is to dig down and have a look and, uh-oh.
As frustrated as I am with all the delays, I am at least glad they're not doing what Ottawa did with the Confederation line of their light rail system. Unlike this line, that wasn't a Metrolinx project. It was a city project. After a series of delays to the opening date, the City of Ottawa decided to open the line even though they knew there were numerous unresolved problems, with predictably disastrous results. There were problems with the doors. Some of the vehicle's wheels developed cracks. There were derailments. Pieces literally fell off some of the vehicles. There were leaks in the tunnels, and one station had a persistent sewage smell. The delivery of power via the overhead power line didn't work well in freezing rain, and track switches froze in winter, despite being equipped with heaters, which are problems because, winter is a thing that happens every year in Ottawa. I mean, who knew? And that's just a partial list of things gone wrong. It was so bad that a public inquiry was held, headed by a judge, and his report was scathing. He made 103 recommendations, and you know things are bad if you need that many. Among other things, he found that information about testing was withheld from both City Council and the public, which he described as an egregious violation of the public trust. His words, not mine. So, while I hope Metrolinx has studied his report to learn what not to do with this line, they apparently skipped that section.
When this line was proposed as part of then-Mayor David Miller's Transit City project, the announced opening date was 2020. It never had a specific day or even month attached to it, so anything up to December 31st, 2020 would count as being on time. That makes January 1st, 2021, day one of the delays. And counting from that day, day 1665 is today, July 23rd, 2025. Meaning that the delays alone in opening this line are equal to the entire time it took to construct and open Toronto's original subway line. And that was done with 1950s construction technology. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what to do. Please like and subscribe.